houses, you know, it will be fertile, life will be lost, and things like that.
It's interesting that you brought in the telcos, because more often than not, what we see is the Lagos residents, I don't want to say Lagosians, Lagos residents at the receiving end of this, where their houses or their shops or whatever it is gets demolished. One wonders if they are sacred cows when it comes to the telcos, because they don't seem to be receiving any of this backlash. My question really to you is, the Lagos state governments in the past have declared zero tolerance for this flagrant abuse of siting buildings under high-tension wires and the likes of them, and then we see these demolition processes. What are you doing differently? Because I know you've talked about, since resumption in office, you've talked about critical thinking and technology, bringing in technology, but in practical terms, what are you doing differently? Are we going to be seeing more demolitions? Because, again, despite those demolitions, we see these buildings on that high-tension wires are rampant.
Okay. For me, Rome wasn't built a day. I think right now, if we want the kind of Lagos we all, you know, wish for, there must be an aggressive, you know, compliance of, you know, taxpayers. You will find out that a lot of people, they will not follow the guidance. They will not build to the required setback. I can remember when I was in Lamata as the Director of Roads and Traffic Management, when we wanted to extend BRT from Mile 12 to Ikorodu. We were even thinking, you know, begging people that, okay, you know, we'll organize a resettlement action plan and demolish a building. It's for the development of the state, not even knowing they had built into the right-of-way. You know, it's so unfortunate, because I keep saying this. Yes, I'm a Nigerian, and when you go out there, the planning permission guidance in London will never, you can never go out of it, regardless who wants to, you know, help you or assist you in going out of it, because the person knows he's going to lose his job. However, in the remit of LASIMRA, we, on our road maintenance side, you know, because we look at road maintenance as well, we need to check whether all the, you know, live tension wires, you know, all the cable, armor cables buried, they are to the required setback as prescribed by law. You know.
I want to come in there real quickly, because increasingly, maybe because of the advancement of technology, we have need for fiber optic cables that have to go under the ground. And the way at which this is being done, we see how it jeopardizes the roads. Is there provision for men of LASIMRA to be on ground to be able to check the execution of those projects? And secondly, I want to also talk about individuals that have put their own personal property up for installation of fiber optic cables and masts. You know, that's sort of like a touchy situation. There are people that put their backyard for people to install masts. And there's things we call radiation density, radiation threshold, radiation frequency, and radioactivity interplay, which are hazardous to the health of people. So how is LASIMRA having those vital conversations? What's the merit to this?
Well, for me, I mean, and for LASIMRA, it's unfortunate because people are not well educated. And when LASIMRA was established, it was the advent of, you know, the introduction of mobile phone. Everything is still vague. Even though with what you have said, some report or research said, you know, it causes lung cancer, you know, it causes disability, it causes... But if you look at all the institutes, whether European, London, international, United Nations, there is no concrete evidence.
Including the WHO.
Yeah, including the WHO, that it causes health hazard. There is no concrete evidence. However, we all know that, you know, you have radio frequencies, you know, infrared rays, you know, coming out of the place, which can be injurious to human. What the NCC stipulates, you must not erect any mast lesser than 10 meters to any wall or property. But maybe because of the way the country is, people need income coming in regularly. You know, the telecommunications, they know they pay them yearly, some monthly, quarterly. So for me, it's a way whereby, in fact, I have a litigation as I speak, whereby I had to stop a mast being operational because the guy just said, sorry, where you have erected this mast is injurious to my health, my family. So we have a lot of litigations pending. And again, what I'm doing as the GM LASIMRA, I have hundreds of masts that I'm going to decommission. You know, because we are taking a lot of assessments. We've been writing, we are combing the states. We've been writing all the banks that own masts. We've been writing all the telecommunication companies because we need to digitalize and automate the whole procedure.
So decommissioning of this mast, because that's a big punchline out there for a lot of people that are listening to this now. Are they area specific? How are you ready for the backlash and the litigation to the effect of this decommissioning of some of this masts?
Unfortunately, the law established LASIMRA, and there's no ignorance in law. So the onus is on them to go and study LASIMRA law. And if you contravene the law, then what happens? And this is one thing that the governor, the present governor, is even really looking at. You know, LASIMRA wasn't established to make or generate revenue. That is not the primary objective.
Okay, Mr. Elulade, I'm so sorry to interrupt you, but we'll have to go on a break. Okay. We'll come back, we'll talk about how all of this, you know, falls in place with the governor's themes agenda. Stay with us. You're watching The Morning Show here on Arise News.
Welcome back to The Morning Show here on Arise News. We're still talking to Engineer Funsho Elulade, the General Manager, Lagos State Infrastructure, Maintenance and Regulatory Agency, LASIMRA. And before the break, we were talking about the decommissioning of some of these masts and how you have pending litigations. Now, how does LASIMRA plan to go ahead and forge this? You're about to land on a point.
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, our legal department has been busy since my assumption of office. And I'm not going to leave any stone unturned. If you contravene the law, you know, you have to be ready to, you know, take the bullet. Because all these big, giant telecommunication companies, they have the money, so they can buy their way through, but not in Lagos anymore. Everybody must comply with what the law is. As long as you comply with what the law is, that's fine. If you look at Lagos State, it's unfortunate, just go to any skyscraper, like say 10 meter, 10-story skyscraper.